lovely mini makers. Welcome to Made by Mini Makes, a virtual art and craft club for kids and big kids too. Each week we have new themes. I'm covered in oodles of doodles. It's Doodle Week. Did you catch my story earlier in the week? Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. It was all about a boy called Ramon who loved to doodle. But don't worry if you missed it. Tune in to my YouTube channel so you can listen tonight for your bedtime story. Great, eh? Whoops, sorry, you caught me. This week was all about doodling. You may think, or someone might have even told you, that doodling is not art. It's simply a waste of time. I doodle all the time, whenever I have a pen in my hand. So much so that sometimes people don't think I'm listening to them. But you know what? Doodling helps me concentrate. And often doodles help me remember what's being said. Doodling is not a waste of time, and it is art. It helps you think of new creative ideas. It helps relax you. It helps you focus, and it helps you remember things, like me. But also it's great for experimenting, for trying out new ideas without worrying about making mistakes. Do you know famous artists like Paul Klee and Vasily Kandinsky created amazing paintings, and they all started off with doodles. So this week we've been embracing the happy mistakes, the crazy ideas, and the fun in playing. Today, let's put that all to the test. We're going to pop all of that magic into an imagination doodle door sign bottle for your bedroom door. You can hang it on your door handle to tell people when you're busy being creative. It will say, "Go away, creative magic at work. Don't you know?" So come on then, doodlers, let's get crafty.
Starting with your pencil on your A4 sheet of paper, towards the top, about a thumb size length from the top of your piece of paper, draw two little lines and join them together with two longer lines, making them a little bit curved. Then draw two lines from the bottom line and then start drawing the rest of your bottle. I've gone for a rectangular shaped bottle, but you could go for any shape you like. You could go for a round one, an oval one, or even a diamond shaped bottle, whatever you fancy. Now, in the top of the bottle, where the neck is, we're going to draw the cork. Draw two lines at an angle and then join them together with a curve. Now draw two more lines inside the bottle at an angle and again join them together with a little curve. Can you see that the inside bit of the cork is smaller than the outside bit of the cork? Now we're going to draw the inside of your imagination bottle. So have a little think about what you might like to go inside yours. I decided I wanted to have a toadstool with a butterfly, a dragonfly and some ladybirds at the bottom. So here I'm starting to draw the top of my toadstool. Can you see it's a little bit like a squished oval shape? And then down from it I draw two little lines. This is the top of the toadstool stalk. Now simply draw a line for the label, going from one side of the bottle to another, and then another one just below. Make sure you don't make it too thin because we'll need to write a message in here. Now what we're going to do is carry on our toadstool stalk. Obviously, if you've chosen to do something different, you will have to do the same thing. So using my pencil, I used it as a guide to help me to line up my bottom stalk with my top stalk. Can you see the label is actually hiding the middle of the stalk? Now I decided to add some grass to the bottom of my imagination bottle, as though my toadstool is growing in its own little garden inside the bottle. Using spiky pencil marks, I create the grass along the bottom. It doesn't have to be too neat. And don't worry if you've gone over the top of your toadstool base. Now start adding some spots to the top of your toadstool. Can you see that I've actually done semicircles to make it look like you can only see one side of the toadstool? Then do some circular ones in the middle. Now to make our cork look a bit more cork-like, just add some little wibbly wobbly circles. Again, do some right at the edge as well, because we're going to make it look a little bit like the cork's been chipped away. If you look at a cork closely, you can see that it's quite rough on the edges. It's not smooth. Now I'm going to start adding some details. I'm going to do a butterfly. I start with a very small circle for the head and then draw its long body, a little bit like a stretched teardrop shape, and then draw some wings. I made the edges of mine a bit jagged. Don't worry about adding loads of detail at this stage because we're going to paint over the top, but you might want to just add a little bit just as a guide. Now to do my dragonfly, creating a sort of sideways teardrop shape, and then again two more on each side of the body, and then two smaller ones. The dragonfly now has two sets of wings. Add some big, round, googly eyes and some lines for his antennae. Now for the ladybirds. These are very simple. Simply draw a big circle and then directly next to it a little circle, joined together. Then just draw some legs. And then add the spots. Just little circles and semicircles for the ones that are close to the edge of the body. Repeat the same thing again for your second ladybird. Now to add your imagination bottle's label. First of all, decide what you are actually going to write. If, like my label, and it's really long, you might want to go onto 2 lines. Very, very lightly with your pencil, draw yourself 2 guidelines so that you can write on top of the lines. Then again, very, very lightly with your pencil, start to write your message. So as you can see here, I've put Lily's room in capital letters. And then below it, I'm going to write my message. Yours might say, do not disturb, or go away, I'm being creative. I decided to put creative magic at work so that I could tell everybody when I was being creative, or should I say, when Lily's being creative, because it's going to go on her bedroom door. Once you've finished all your pencil work and you're happy with it, we can now start to go over it in pen. Starting with the cork at the top, follow the lines of your pencil. But where you get to the bits where you left the semicircle, instead of going straight across, go into the cork and follow the semicircle line so that you make it look like the cork has crumbled. Do this all the way around the edge of your cork. Then simply start to trace over all your pencil work with your pen until you've completely finished. Once you've finished all your outline work, we can now make our sign a little bit more fancy by creating block writing. Instead of just going straight over the top, but use your pencil lines as a guide to help you know where to draw it. You could do bubble writing or any other kind of fancy writing if you prefer, or just keep it simple and just draw it normally. Once you've finished all your outline work, make sure the ink is dry and then just use a rubber to rub out your pencil marks. Now to paint your beautiful doodle. I decided I'd like to use watercolours. If you don't have watercolours, you can use any paint you like. You could even make your own. Go on my website, there's lots of recipes on how to make different types of paint, including watercolour paint. So let's start off by just painting the background. I'm just using a mid-tone blue. which means it's not light blue, it's not dark blue, it's somewhere in the middle. I've made it very watery so that it looks see-through because my bottle's glass. Make your paint really watery so it looks a bit like glass that you can see through. But it also looks a little bit like sky too. Perfect for an imaginary world inside a doodle bottle. Next, to paint the cork, I chose a nice dark brown, and again I made it quite watery. This was so I could add layers of darker brown over the top so that I can create that jagged textured effect of a cork. Next, start adding some dots of dark brown, just to make it look like the holes in the side of a cork where it's crumbled. You might want to make your paint a little bit darker than your background paint for your cork, so that it really stands out. Again, I made mine quite watery, because I didn't want it to look too perfect. If you look at a cork, it's all different shades of brown. This is because cork is a natural product. It comes from the bark of a cork oak tree. Keep adding different shades of brown. Because my cork is already wet from the paint I've already added, the dots that I'm adding start to blur into the background a bit, just to soften them. This technique is actually called wet on wet in watercolour painting. Simply adding speckles of brown all over your cork to make it look a little bit more like a mottled effect, how a cork would look. Keep going until you're happy. Now simply paint the rest of the inside of your bottle. Go for any colour you like. Perhaps think a little bit differently. I started painting my toadstool red, and then I decided actually I wanted to make it purple. So think a little bit differently. In art, you don't have to draw things exactly as they look. So if you've drawn a toadstool, you might want to do yours blue, or multicoloured even. Whatever takes your fancy. Have fun just being creative with colour. Then once you've finished colouring it all in, simply leave it to dry and then cut it out. Once you've finished the front and you've cut it out, flip it over, and with some black paint, just paint the whole of the back. Or whatever colour you like. You could even do it multicoloured. Leave to dry. The last thing to do is to attach some ribbon or string, whatever you have to hand, to your bottle so you can hang it from your bedroom door. If you've got a thick piece of ribbon like mine, you might want to fold it in half and position it on the neck of your bottle, the thin bit. Flip it over and secure the first short bit of ribbon or string in place with some sticky tape. Then the long bit, fold over again and again secure with some sticky tape. Make sure that it's securely in place. The long bit will be the bit that you tie to your door handle. And there you have it, your magic imagination doodle door sign. Enjoy!